Let's go!
Assalamualaikum, we are from Group EP. Today we are going to present our group project report with the title of Poverty Among Students, Impacts on Education. So after group discussion, we have decided to choose SDG 1, which is Sustainable Development Goal 1, no poverty. What is poverty? Poverty is state of which a person or community lacks the financial resources for a minimum standards of living. In other words, poor. Because we are still students, so the issue that caught up our group attention is poverty related to the students. Our opinion on this issue are very critical because education of student is one of the important key to the development of economies. So our study is basically finding out the effect of living in poverty to a student on their academic performance.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. So my name is Muhammad Faiz bin Muhammad Musir and I'm going to present to you about the problem statement of our research. Alright, according to a research by Kendall in 2018 stated that 99.7% of children who live in low-cost house in Kuala Lumpur is under the category of relative poverty. We can see that in the capital city of Malaysia, there is a huge number of people that are living in poverty, and from the number, about a half of 5 to 6 years old kids are not taking preschool education due to poverty. From the statistics, we can say that poverty can be a barrier for students to get an access to the education, as you need to cost a lot of money to afford for the school uniforms, exercise books, stationaries and so on. And if we look at the tertiary education, which is among university students, we cannot run from a fact that it requires a huge amount of money for tuition fees, accommodation and internet packages as well, because we are currently conducting online learning where we need to have access to the internet. All of this requires a lot of money, and what they can do is finding a part-time job to accommodate these issues. So, what are the effects of poverty among students? One of it is when students is involved in a part-time job, they will tend to lose focus in academic because they spend more time to work and they will feel tired to study or even to focus in class, and this will affect their academic performance. Also, students in poverty will have insufficient studies materials such as reference book and tuition classes, and this will create a different learning experience which will affect their grade. Therefore, this research aims to understand the problems faced by students in poverty, and we're also interested to know the initiative from the government and other respective authorities to tackle this issue. Finally, we also hope that the students in poverty will have a better and brighter future for their education. So, I think that's all for the problem statement part. I will pass this presentation to my colleagues to present the next part of our research. Thank you.
Moving on to research question. There are three research questions in our project. First, how does poverty among students affect their academic performance? Second, how can government or responsible parties help to reduce poverty issues among students? Third, what is the new challenge to study faced by students with poverty issues during this pandemic?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hanif bin Muhammad Nisbat, and I will present about our project literature review based on our research question. So first is, how does poverty among students affect their academic performance? Numerous studies have been conducted that link poverty to quality of education, which will measure on students' academic achievement, especially those at the preschool, primary and secondary level. First, poverty among students affect their academic performance due to the cost of education. Parents have to meet the costs such as school fees, school supplies, book and services, pocket fees, and others to educate their children. Not only that, there are also expenses that can differ widely among students, such as extra reading materials and schooling. Next, poverty students' performance also affected due to the trouble in their learnings because of the financial challenges of their families. For an example, some of them are having difficulty to concentrate during their learning because they come to school without having a breakfast, and some may not be able to eat during recess because they don't have the money to buy foods, as stated by Vignesh Wawarao in his article. They also don't have enough material to study because they can't afford to buy extra material such as reference books. Next, based on the other research question, the new challenge to study faced by students with poverty issues during this pandemic is online education. Poverty students may face a lot of challenges during the implementation on online learning. For an example, they are unable to access online services due to the lack of internet connectivity, lack of access to electricity and electronic device, and lack of infrastructure development. Poverty students also will face lacking academic data due to the network problem, which may affect their academic performance. Not only that, they also need to spend an extra cost of study like purchasing electronic devices such as laptop for online learning. And lastly, the high cost of the internet package for online class access during this pandemic also one of the new challenges for them during this pandemic.
Hi, my name is Sabri and I will continue on literature review. Role of government or responsible parties to help students in poverty. The government or Ministry of Education have implemented a few methods to help students in poverty. First, free tuition fees up to secondary school. This is to ensure every children can get access to education. Second, rancangan makanan tambahan RMT, which provide nutritious food to students in school. This is to ensure perfect growth without malnutrition issues. Third, program pemberian computer riba for students in school. This is to ensure every student can join online learning, especially during this pandemic. Fourth, PTPTN, a form of convertible loan applicable by all Malaysians that pursue studies in tertiary education. In Budget 2021, the government have provided a new scheme called BSN My Ringgit iKongsi scheme, which to ensure that every student can afford to buy a laptop, which is a need in current situation. Moving on to government and non-government organisation. First, Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA, which give financial aid in form of program bantuan untuk pendidikan, BUDI, for students in secondary school, and tertiary education loan program TESP, a form of convertible loan. Second, Yayasan Peneraju Pendidikan Bumi Putra, which provide full scholarship in 3 schemes, Peneraju Tunas, Peneraju Skill, and Peneraju Professional. Next, non-government organisation. First, Yayasan Tenaga Nasional YDN, which provide full scholarship called TNB's My Brighter Future Scholarship. Second, Lembaga Zakat Selangor, which provide financial aid called Bantuan Derma Siswa Pengajian Tinggi BDPT and Sumbangan Pendidikan Zakat Anak Selangor SPZAS. Third, Yayasan Bank Rakyat, which provide convertible loan called Pembiayaan Pendidikan Boleh Ubah PPBU. In summary, the Ministry of Education, government organisation, and non-government organisation plays an important role to help students in poverty to ensure they can get a perfect education.
Hi, my name is Nifail Irshad Yusuf, and now I'm going to end our project video with the conclusion part. From our project, we succeed in finding out this thing. The first one is the effect of living in poverty towards students' academic performance. Who and what are the role of responsible parties to reduce poverty issues affecting students and the challenges faced by students with poverty issues during pandemic. From all the findings, our project can benefit the readers and give an impact towards solving the issue. First, the group that will benefit from it is students itself, especially students that are living in poverty. This group of students will gain early knowledge and awareness toward the issue, and they will try to overcome it or be prepared so that it did not affect their studies. Next, parents can gain benefit from this project too. Parents need to be aware that parental involvement during middle school years will have positive effects on students' school performance. From our project, parents living in poverty will realize what is happening with their children and what the children are going through in their studies. Ultimately, they will give extra support and attention to them or even try not to affect their children with issues in the family. Lastly, from our project, the government should increase the initiative to eradicate students living in poverty because students are the root of the country's growth. Students play a very significant and important role in the development of the country. And if the government is able to do so, then education equity can be enhanced and there will be a rise in education quality in Malaysia. That's all for the conclusion part and for our project video. Thank you.